Okay. So like when you get a requirement to the search pages, so what you can do is like there are two ways of implementing. One is using a manual method, and another one is using Philippine concept. Philippine. So let's see the first one, like using a manual method, nothing but where developer has to write the code to implement the search page. Okay. So first of all, what we do is let us choose some data model, nothing but a Vivo, and for that we have to design a query. Let's design a query first. So we can take any query. Let's implement some query now. Okay. So this item master query. Now what we do is like as a user, people will provide the item number as an input and we'll see the output in the table page. We consider item number as an input and then we'll get the output in the table page. So for this one, to implement a search page, generally what you require. So let me write here. So AM, and we can consider model and view and CO layer concept. So it's for AM as well as view. And of course the search page. And proceed. So this is the component you generally require when you want to implement a search page. So let's design the Vivo. So to create a Vivo, what we have to do is there are different ways again. Either you can right click on the package level here, or you can platform right click at the project level. Either way it works. So I'll just perform right click at this particular server package level here and click on new object. And click on next. Read only access. So I'm going with read only access because we are implementing search page, so it should be read only. So we have to go with read only access now. Click on next and mention the query here. Okay. So now here the input parameter which we want to consider is we want to consider item number of input. So I'll just mention then one is colon 1. Okay. You can validate this query.
This is a parameter?
Yeah, this is a parameter number.
Oh, okay.
This is a binding style we generally use it in the OAF framework. So there are different ways, but this is the general preferred method. So what you have to do is if you have multiple parameters, the first parameter should start with 1, the remaining things should increment by 1. The first parameter.
Is there any limitation on the parameter?
No, it won't be much limit. You don't have any limit in it.
Well, there is no limitation, right? I can define any number of parameters, right?
Yeah, you can define, of course.
Yeah.
Now click on next. And document changes all the columns here. Click on next. Next. Nothing to change. So now nothing to change. Click on finish. Okay. The only thing is the first thing is you have to mention the package structure, mention the Vivo, then you have to mention the query, and after that there is nothing to change. Just click on finish. Okay. Now this will create the Vivo here. This is the Vivo. Now if you observe, it created two files. One is XML file, another one is Java file. It created two files. One is XML file, another one is Java file. So we have to assign the Vivo to the AM. Now we created a Vivo, but unless we assign the Vivo to the AM, we cannot use the page. So we have to manually assign the Vivo to the AM. So double click on the AM here, and here is the available Vivo object. It will show our Vivo object now. So we have to move the data model of the AM manually. So just move to the right side, and now it will create an instance for it. It will create an instance for it. So now this is a name we have to refer in our page. Whenever we want to use this Vivo, we have to use this particular name. Okay. Now let me show you one more thing also. Now if you observe here, so this is the default code of our Java and IMPL file. Now after assigning the Vivo to the AM, it will get assigned some particular extra method now. You see here, I'll move my Vivo to the AM now and click on apply. It will generate a method now. It will generate a get Vivo method. Click on apply and OK. So now line number 23, 24, it generates this particular method now. Get item number search Vivo 1. This is a method which will get assigned in the AM. Okay. Now let's create a page under CO. Now in the GUI, new OAF component page. And then the page. And let's set the default properties here. Now here generally a search page will always have a search region as well as a data region. So let's create two regions now. In the main region, perform a right click on new region, and again perform right click on the main region and create one more region. So I created two regions now, region 1 as well as region 2, and both are of the region style header region. Okay. So in the region 1, I'll just name it as search region and give the region from search region. And the same way in the region 2, mention it as criteria, result region. Result region. And now what we do is in the search region, let's create two items. One is item number, another one is item button. Click on new item, and I'll name this as item number and give the visual from enter item number. And now in the search region, create a new item and change the item style to submit button. Change the item style to submit button. And now just say just mention the ID as book. Okay, like this. Now in the result region, what is the expectation is for a given item number, we may get multiple records. So I go with the table. Region. So on the result region, click on the right click and click on new region using the wizard. Click on next. So make sure that you select the appropriate AM here. Select the Vivo. Click on next. And now the result region we want to display it as a table region. So let's select table here. Table region. Click on next. So let's select the column which you want to show in the output. Item description, item number, and some columns. Click on next. Now set all of them as message style text because it's a search page, so they have to be in a read-only format. So we have to go with style text and finish. Okay. So the page design is all ready, but we have tried the coding, right? We have tried the logic using the go button. So what is the expectation is we have to execute the depot, but before execution of the depot, we have to make sure that we have to bind the parameter. Now go to the AM first of all, and on the AMIPL, go to AMIPL file. This is the one. In this one, what we do is inside this particular class, we have to write a new method now. Inside this particular class, we have to write our custom method as a public void initialize item number search video. This one method name. And what is the expectation is I require item number before executing the video. So I will get item number from the other Vivo, item number str. So now what I have to do is I have to bind the Vivo. Vivo is equal to get item number Vivo 1 and Vivo dot clear cache Vivo dot set where class initialize with them null. First of all, always set where class. This also initialize with null, and then finally we have to bind it. Set where class param 0 comma item number. So here in the Java it starts with 0, but in the query it starts with 1. Okay. So now this is how we have to bind it. Before execution, we have to bind the parameter, then we have to execute it. So this method we have to call from the CO. This particular method we have to call it from the CO when exit hits on a button. So we know that how to handle a button, isn't it? So now we have, I think we have not created controller. Let's create a controller. On the main region, perform a right click, click on set new controller, and mention it as item number search CO. Item number search CO. So what we are told, we have to handle the go button, right? So in the process form request, let's write a logic to handle the go button. So here what we do is page context.get parameter of go not equal to null and get the item number. So you can get the item number using page context.get parameter. Item number is equal to page context.get parameter. Okay. So this is how we can get the item number. And the next thing is we have to call the AM method. We have to call the AM method. So what is the AM first of all? Right? AM is equal to page context.get application module. Okay. Now we have to initialize, we have to call the initializing method. Okay. What is that method? Init item number search VO. We have to call this method and pass item number. Pass item number. That's it. Okay. So what is the navigation happening now is, like if you observe the flow of the page. So how exactly it flows is, from the page it will go to controller, from the controller it will go to AM, from the AM it will go to user, then connect it to the database. So this is the total flow of the page now. So let's run the page. Okay. So now what is it saying? Geog is not found. Notification of control page geog is not found. We will need this item number search. And let's check the age whether we have only is correct only. 6 I see. Can you observe here? There are two NIs, right? That's a problem. Can you see? There is PER server NI is here and FLD server NI is here. So I have to select FLD server NI. So it's a confusion which I said.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah. Now run the page. Because I am working in the FLD server NI. Okay. So it was clearly mentioned in that rule that it could not find the view. That was it. So it all depends upon the aim which you assign to the page. Generally, it can get the appropriate views. Right? Now, if you can go, now it will not get any results because we have not passed any item number. So it will send the null to the view and it will execute the view with a null value. Now this pass has some item number now. Yeah. Pass. Okay. Click on go. Right. So we are able to get the data, right? Of course, like it is have a comment. It is not unique because it all depends upon the organization ID also, right? Organization ID as well as the segment that makes the Unix combination. Okay.
But can you put percentage and click go? It has to fetch everything, right?
See, it all depends upon the where clause what you write. It all depends upon the where clause. If you consider here, so what we mentioned here, we mentioned is equal to, right? Even if you mention percentage, it's of no use, isn't it? Here we mentioned is equal to condition, isn't it? Not like condition. It all depends upon what condition you mention. Let us say if you want like operation, then you have to mention like operation. That is where the difference comes into picture. You have to clearly mention like operation. Now if you mention like operation, then it will work. The percentage will work.
But this is the only method you have to mention the var class, or is there any other method we can give the conditions?
No, it's a normal thing, right? Like you can pass any kind of data to the field. It can be a number, it can be date, it can be string. Anything you can pass, right? Now we are considering only
This is
thing.
the only place you can. Okay. But this is the only place you will define your var class, right?
Means
That means you wrote the simple query, right? Select start from MTL system B var
okay.
segment 1 to. But this is the only place you can give var class, or any other place we can.
Oh, you mean where class?
Ah,
Where class, there are two different ways. Either during declaration you can define your where class, or you can append the where class at runtime also. Sometimes what may happen is during declarative fashion, nothing but during designing of your page, you will not have the idea about the where clause. What we do is at runtime, based on the condition, we can append the where clause. Nothing but lexical binding. In the report, we do the lexical binding, right? The where clause will append at runtime. That's how we can do it.
okay.
We can append the where clause at runtime also. So what I will do is, let us say, consider that you want to design, you want to get the data of only our particular current organization ID. Okay, assume that you have that requirement. What I will do is, here, I'll append the where clause at runtime. I will append the where clause at runtime. Just see. I will write that logic. So now, this particular logic, are you clear or any doubts?
Actually, we define two page, right? Page 1 and page 2, both are appearing in the same page, right? I thought it will open a new page. The result will be open in a new page.
No, that's a region, not a page. See, this is our total page, right?
Ah, that is it.
This is a region. Now, if you
Yes,
consider, main region is a single region. In this, we have two regions. One is search region, other is result region.
right.
Yeah.
But why it is appearing in the same page? Will it be appear? It will not be appear in the separate page. The result will be appear in the new page.
No, no, no. This whole component is single page. pg.xml is total a single component. Whatever is defined in this particular structure, that will get appeared only in a single page. They're not different pages, right? They are just regions. If you observe, this blue color header region, this is just a region.
Okay.
This total pg.xml is a single page. Whatever we define in this particular page, it will be shown in a single page.
Okay. Okay. Got it.
Okay. If you want to design, if you want to show the result in other particular page, you have to define another page.
Okay. I have to create another page and assign this region to
Yeah, of
that new
course.
page.
Yeah, yeah. Now let us say if you have a requirement to, like a user will enter the criteria in one page and result was shown in another page. What then what have to do? You have to define two pages. One is for the purpose of search region and other one for the purpose of result region. Got it?
Okay, Sridhar.
Yeah. So now here yeah, in this one, let us say if you have a requirement to open the web browser runtime. Now like we have seen just how to bind the parameter, and but let us say if you don't dynamically append the where clause. So what we can do is it's very simple. So that before executing the VMO, so here, and we already have a parameter, so we binded that one, and after that, what we can do is we can append our where clause. So now, like what exactly we want to bind? Let us say I would like to bind the organization ID. Assume that I want to bind the organization ID. I want to retrieve the data of only the organization ID which is belonging to 204. Okay. So then what I will do is we go to set where class organization ID, okay, is equal to 204. Okay. So this is how we can bind the where class. Got it? So you can have the appropriate where clause design, and then you can just set to this particular method, set where clause. Now if you run the query, it will show the data of only the organization ID 204.
Okay.
So flex is nothing but concatenation. Flex is concatenation in Java. Just say 8% and you go. Can you see? You're able to see the data of 1204 now. Or let us say check for only one item number.
Yes.
Right?
Yes,
But,
Sridhar,
yeah.
this organization var class, right? Right now you add it in the controller, right? What is the difference between adding in the var class and here?
See, the difference is there are sometimes you may not have the exact, like sometimes you want to bind the web clause at one time. See, simple thing. In the RDF report, I mean, did you work on the RDF report?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. In the RDF report, you have a concept of bind parameter as well as lexical bind, isn't it?
Right.
So you know the difference, right? Why do we go with the bind parameter and why do we go with the lexical binding? So it all depends upon the if you are aware of the query at design time, just simply binding will work. But there are chances, that based on the user selection, based on the parameter selection, if you want to change the where clause, then you have to go with the lexical binding. In the same way, in our OAF also, if you want to change the where clause, if you want to, if you want to append the different where clause at runtime based on the user selection or user event or based on the appropriate parameters, then you have to go with this particular where clause at runtime, like where clause method.
Okay. If I want to add one more var class, I have to put and or
No, no,
just
no.
like this.
No, just we have to append in a single where clause like this. You have to just write totally here itself. Let us say if you want to add up one more where clause, I'll say and one equals to 1. You have to write like this. In a single where clause. Set where clause, just you have to append the string actually. You just design a where clause string. What you can do is better is always
Okay.
take a string like this where clause str is equal to some particular string or variable, and you just append this particular string. That's it. Like this. The same thing as your normal case
Oh,
you can apply.
that means okay. This var class will be added where
Yes.
item number equal to and this organization ID, right?
Right. Correct.
Okay. But if I want to write some like select statement in the var class,
You mean to say any
in
clause?
class.
Everything. It's a binding clause. That's what I'm saying, right? And it just simply works the way normal environment works. You just require a valid SQL query. That's it.
Okay.
Okay. So we can print our query also. Like we have an option. Let us say the Vivo query is equal to Vivo dot get query. There's a method called get query. So you can print the Vivo query at final. Now let us say like sometimes we may not be clear how exactly what has happened to the Vivo, what is the query. So we can just print the query like this. Vivo dot get query to print the total final query. Now if you observe
Okay.
this one, if you see the query here, can you see now what is the query?
Oh. Okay, okay.
Right. You select star from, again select star from where you like one, colon 1, so it is set where organization ID is equal to 204 and this one. So whatever the query which is available in the Vivo, that will have this particular, that is this is the query. Whatever the query which we have written in
Okay.
our Vivo, this is the query. And for there, it will happen the remaining where clause. Okay.
Okay.
Now this is called like manual step because where we developer have to define each and every parameter and itself. They have to split manually. That is why it's called manual step. And now one more thing is here, if you observe the item number you are entering, right? Like manually you are entering the item number. Then this is not a preferred way. So user has to select from the list of values or maybe the PopList and based on the previous display. So what we can do is for this one we require a LOB, isn't it? We require LOB. So let us understand how to define the LOB as well as PopList. Then we can assign this particular LOB to this page. Okay.
Okay.
So let's define LOB. Now what I will do is I will try to define LOB for this particular segment number. So I'll just define, I'll say this thing, segment 1. Okay. I can take as item number like this. Right. So this will display, this will give me the distinct item number for it. So I'll select this particular query. Now I'll define the LOB. So for the LOB, we have to consider different package structure. It should be LOB server. For LOBs, we have to consider different package structure. It should be LOB.server. Okay. XXNI or labs can be LOB server. Okay. So now on the FRT package, I'll just press on the right click and click on new object, click on next, and now select the appropriate package structure. I'll just say FND LOB server, and I'll say item number LOB Vivo. See the suffix and the naming convention here, and click on the access, click on next, and now mention the field. Now click on next, nothing to change, click on finish. Right? So now the LOB in the LOB server package, this Vivo got created. Assign this particular Vivo to the AM. Assign this Vivo to the AM. So double click on the AM here and check the appropriate Vivo here and move it to the AM. Move it to the AM and click on apply and OK. Now first of all design the LOB independently and then we can assign to the page. Let's design the page, design the LOB independently because we never worked on the AM, we never worked on the LOB as of now. So let's display the LOB Vivo in another page and then after that we'll try to assign to our first page. So the first view I will create a new page and say LOB sample page and now create a create a page, set the properties. LOB sample, LOB sample, and here main window. So on the main page, you just press on the right click here and click on new item. Click on new item. And we want to display LOB. So what we do is change item style to message LOB input. Change the item style to message LOB input. So once you change item style to message LOB input, automatically it will create some particular child component under this particular item. So this is especially for the LOB, not for all the components, but generally for the LOB it appears a different set of components when you change the item style to message LOB input. So now if you observe automatically created region 1 as well as LOB mapping. Created region 1 as well as LOB mapping. So this item ID I'll change it to item number LOB ID. Okay. Item number LOB ID. And here in the visual prompt I'll just mention that select item number. I will mention it as select item number. So on the region 1, on this region 1, so generally if you observe how exactly LOB appears in the OAF pages, it's kind of a torch icon where you just have to click on that particular icon. It will display a pop-up and in that it will display table region. Now using region 1, you have to create that particular table region now. Perform a right click. Click on new table using a wizard. Click on next and select the AIM. Item number LOB Vivo. Click on next. Next. Select item number and select. So this item number Vivo is available in item number column is available in the table region. Now we have one more property called LOB mapping. So using LOB mapping, we have to bind the table region as well as our LOB ID. So what is our LOB region ID? LOB region item is item number, which is a part of the table region, and written item is item number LOB ID. Written item is item number LOB ID. That is also same. So one more thing is we have to make sure that search allowed property on this item number should be true. So click on the item number and set the search allowed property to true. And also this one also make sure that you set the search allowed property as true. Now run the page and you can see how exactly it looks like. So there is no need to explicitly execute the repo of the LOB. That will get executed automatically. The underlying repo of the LOB will be executed automatically. Okay. Yeah. Now let's try. Just click on this particular icon. It will show a pop-up region, and in this one it will show a table region. Just click on go. Yeah. So it displays the list of item numbers. You select any item number, and the selected value will get displayed in the text box. Right? Got it?
Okay.
So this is how we can define new LOBs.
But how will you attach the LOV to that previous screen?
Yeah. See, the same way what we define, now we have to define in other page also. We cannot, there are different ways of doing it, but initially what we do is, now we created this item, right? This item has to be defined in the other page also, that's it. What we can do is now I'll just simply copy this item. You can also copy this item, copy, and so in item number search page, what I will do is, in the search region, I'll just paste it in this region, that's it. So, but one basic thing is you have to understand how to get the value from the LOB, right? So I'll just paste here now. Can you see? I'll just move it up.
Yeah, but this LOV I can use it in as a template, right? No need to create all the time this item LOV, right? I can create once and using across the
Yeah.
application, right?
That particular concept is a part of a shared region. That's a part of a shared region concept. If you create the LOB as a part of a shared region, then you can use it across in all the pages. What you can do is, if you want that way, first of all, what you have to do is, you have to create a shared region. In the web UI, just create a new, click on new, and here OA components, you have to click on shared region. This region you have to click on. Now click on OK.
Okay.
So now I'll go with the header region like this only. So here I'll say item number shared region, shared LOB region. Okay. Now this is my region name. Click on OK. Now in this one you just define what are the components you want to define. So I'll just define my LOB now. Okay. I just define my LOB. And what we can do, so time being just run the region. So to run the region, I have to set my A property, then only it will work.
Okay.
F6 N9. And also there's a property called standalone. I have to set that particular property also. Standalone should be true. To run the region, to just verify whether it's working or not, you have to set all these properties. So right click on the region and just click on run. Okay. So now of course it is giving some error, but what you do is just copy the region part. Just copy the region part. Okay, this is the region part now. Okay. So this is the region path. This is the one. Copy this region path, and what we do is in our LOB sample query, in our the search page, in item number search page, what I will do is uh, in the I search region, just create a new item, new region, sorry, just create a new region, move it to the top, move it to the top. On this region one, in the extends property, just mention the region name. On this extends property, just mention the region path. That's it. Okay. Now this particular shared region is available in this page also. Now this shared region is available in this page also. But now what you have to do, we have to just select the value which user has entered in the item number, right? So what you have to do is for that one, we have to consider this item number LOB ID. So in the search page, in the process form request, so I have to change this particular logic here, this one. Item number and I will be equal to page on the job get parameter. I just need to change this logic. That's it. Okay, I just comment the above one. Now run the page and you can see the difference. So this item number search page. So I'll not remove the existing item. I'll let it be. Just run the page and you can see how it looks like. Okay. So now this is item number, right? This item number is a shared region. It's a shared region. Now let us say I will select some value. Now click on it. So it says no result form, but check it out. So one more thing is we are trying to execute the data of only this particular one, right? Organization ID 204 only. So let's see whether we have the data in the 204 or not. First of all, we try to display the data only from the 204. Right? Now we are able to display the data, isn't it? Okay.
But actually we added the LOV in the new item, right? But is there any way we can attach that LOV to that enter item number field?
If you want that way, what you can do is if you observe in the item number, we have again a property called extend, right? Just click on this one. Just need to click on this one and mention the package name. So what is the item number part? So these are package part. Okay. Just click on search. Now can you see? So it displays a list of components which are available, right? So select this one, item number lobby this one, and connect it. So now it says that this particular item is not allowed. Extending message allowed for style item is not allowed. Right? So it's not showing, it's not allowing the property. It's not allowed. No, it is not allowed.
Maybe we need to change the message text input type to LOV.
No, if you change it to LOV, then what is the need of extending, right? There's no need of extending, right? Okay, immediate start there. Let me see.
Okay, got it, okay.
There is no extends property for LOV. So, but we have a property called external LOV. We have a property called external LOV. Let me try this. Yeah. So now you observe. Can you see? I just change it to region 1. Existing This action will delete the existing inline LOB region. Just click on yes. Now what is happening is, let me see. The only region one, the only region one it is getting extended. The only region one it is getting extended. And now in the LOB mapping, just give the appropriate mapping. In the LOB mapping, give the appropriate mapping. So I'll just delete the earlier shared regions. I'll delete this one. And in this one, if you see, you have to make sure that you have to create a mapping, appropriate one. So item number, and this item number has to map to item number. This item number, okay. And make sure that you have to give search allow property as search allow. Where is that? Yeah, search allow property as and what is search criteria? This is search criteria item number. So earlier one, this is perfectly. I will comment the below one. Okay. What is so you just change item sign to message LOB inputs and have a property called less than LOB. So in that you have to mention the LOB part, the shared region LOB part. That's it. Now let's run the page and you can see the difference. Got it? Now let's search any item number. Select item number and click on go. Got it?
Okay.
Okay. So this is how you can use an external LOB. Generally we call it as external LOB or shared region LOB. And now this particular LOB we can use any other pages. Wherever you want, you can use this particular one. So whenever your LOB key is modified, there is nothing to change. That will get automatically changed. Now let us say if you are adding up some two columns or you want to show some extra columns, that does not need to change anything. Now let us say, assume that in the LOB you added organization number. Assume that you added organization number or some other extra column. Then what will happen? If at all if your region, if this particular region is getting modified, that will get refreshed automatically in all the pages. It does not need to modify any other thing. Okay.
So if I add a new column, then I have to assign all this item again, right?
No, let us say now here in this LOB we are showing only item number. I think that rather than item number you want to show this organization ID also. I think that you want to show organization ID also. Then what you can do? You can simply change the LOB. First of all, item number is empty. So I'll remove the distinct here. Let us say I'll just mention organization ID also. Okay. Apply.
Okay.
And always check that whether attribute is generated here. That is nothing. It's generated. You can apply and OK. Now, then what I have to you just change only your shared region. Don't change any other place. Just keep shared region. So click on the shared region, and here I have the stable region, right? So this one I just need to modify. I right click here. You have an option called edit region, and click on view attributes. Select the organization ID also, and click on OK. Okay. Now, to save it, and if you observe in our item number search page, that has to get refreshed. Can you see the organization ID? It is showing organization ID also now.
Right.
So that is how it gets reflected. Because if you search it, it will yeah.
But where is the value will be assigned? The organization ID will be assigned to which variable?
It depends upon mapping. If you want to assign, then you have to create a mapping. Until unless you give a mapping, it will not get assigned.
But right now it will not assign to any variable, right?
Yeah, it will not assign. It will just display. It will just display in this particular this pop-up region. Now, organization ID is also getting shown. That's the only difference.
Okay.
If you want to assign, then what you have to do? You have to create a mapping, then we can assign the value.
Because the mapping was disabled, right? When you click it, it's already disabled, right?
Mapping is not disabled. This is what is disabled region. So you see mapping. Mapping is enabled. That should be there, right? Mapping depends upon the where you are using. So that is the mapping is enabled at any place. Now if you want to display organization ID, what you can do, first of all I have to create a variable because if you want to assign a for the LOA mapping it's required to source as well as target. Source you know from where you want to get the organization ID, but what is the target item? So that for that one you require an item. So what I can do is I can just create some text item, new item like this, and I will change it to message style text, and I will name it as organization number value ID, and just give a prompt organization number. Okay, so now what you can do, you can just either way, you can just drag it to the list before the go button. In the LOA mapping, just create a new mapping now, new mapping. And the LOA mapping, what we have to do, we have to create a mapping between this organization number ID as well as organization number LOA value. So on the LOA map, on the LOA mapping too, select the organization ID. This particular value you are getting from your LOA region, and what to which particular column you want to return, to which particular item you want to return. We want to return to organization number value. So I have to select organization number value. That's it. So this is how we can return the other, multiple parameters, other parameters from the LOA. Extract. Okay. Now run the page and you can see the difference. See, now organization number is null as of now. You just select any value and automatically this particular organization ID will get stored there. Okay, I'll just select this one. Organization number. So that's how we can give it. Yeah. Okay. Now just click on go. Okay. So now I'll show you one more logic now. Let us assume that we have a requirement. Once you select the item number, let us say once you select the item number, automatically you want to execute it. You won't want to click on go again. Assume that you have a requirement. To display the data, when you just select the LOB. Once I select item number, automatically I want to execute it. I don't want to wait, or I don't want to explicitly click on it. I don't want to explicitly click on it. So in those kind of scenarios, what you can do is we have to handle the LOB event. If you just want to display the data, just simply when a user sets on this particular item number, so then what we can do is, so here first thing is you have to handle the LOB event. You have to handle the LOB event. So handling the LOB event is quite different compared to our go button. So let's do that. So we have a method called isLO event. It page content.isLO event. So it is a Boolean value. If it is true, it means that user has clicked on any LOB. But like if your pages are multiple LOBs, we have to find which LOB, right? So for that purpose, we have one more method called get LOB input source type. LOB source type is equal to page content dot get. So now what we have to do is we have tried to logic to handle the LOB event, right? So now what we do, what is our LOB source ID? This source ID. So we have a method called isLO event. So first thing is else page context of isLO event. Okay, this is first logic. And now, but by this we can say that LOB is fine, but we cannot say which LOB is fine. For that one, we have another method, LOB source ID. LOB source ID is equal to page context dot get LOB into source ID. So this will return the ID of the LOB. This will return ID of the LOB. So just compare this LOB ID to the and if this equal to our LOB ID equals LOB source ID. Okay. Now we can say that our LOB event is called, and then we can call the same logic. We just call the same logic. Get the value and call the EM method. So rather than explicitly clicking on go, we can just call the method on the LOV. So now on the page and you can see the difference.
This item number is that LOV name, right?
LOV ID, yeah.
Okay.
Nothing but variable name kind of thing can consider. Now this is the one. This is nothing but our ID. So for every component, the ID is unique across the page. Now this item number is the ID of my ID. For each item or a region, we'll have a unique, like unique ID.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. So just select an item now. And the thing is, like once you select the item, automatically it has to execute the script. Just observe that. Got it?
Okay.
So there is no need to explicitly again click on go. Now let us say if you change item number, it has to show the new result. Let's say that you want to change item number. And now I'll say, this one, 20346. Just click this one, 20346. Right?
Okay.
So this is how we can handle the LOD event. So now we know how to get the value from the LOD as well as how to handle the event of. Okay?
Okay.
Yeah. So now what I have one more thing is now we have to understand the creation of a PopList also. Now we just know how to create LOD and let's create one more search page and see how do you mention the PopList. Okay. So quickly we'll just design one more search page. We can just select any, let us say RA customer invoice. So I just consider this disable invoices. Right? RA customer transaction solved. So now what I want to do, I just want to consider some input parameters. Okay. Assume that I just want to consider the set of book ID as input. Assume that I want to consider the set of book ID as well as transaction number as input. So now what from where we can get the set of books? Yeah. So can we get some distinct set of books here? From where we can get the set of books?
Yeah, I think here there is some column called setup.
Chart of account.
No, GL setup. Yeah.
Right? Okay. Okay. So I just select set of books ID as well as common name. Okay. Now for this one I want to create a pop list. For this one I want to create a pop list. Okay. And for this one I want to consider the set of initially let us consider set of book as an input. Assume that we just want to consider set of books with underscore ID on let us have the transaction block and transaction number is colon. So this is a requirement. Okay. Now just design this particular VO and then page and everything. So just create the VO first. From here, VO and then what? So VO. Given the access to come next. Mention the period. Okay. Next and finish. So assign the VO to the A. Apply and next. Now what you want to do? So first of all, and they require this PopList also, right? The drop down. So for this drop down also, I'll create one more pop people. So for the drop down again, you have to consider some basic convention, isn't it? So it's a different package structure. So the PopList is the package structure PopList server, isn't it? So on the FND, finally I just click on new Vivo, new object, and I say FND PopList web server. And what is the Vivo name? SOPI, right? And so SOPI PopList or copy, so I can say either way. Copy, given the access, use it really. Okay, next, and finish. So I have the name as well as the date. Now assign this Vivo to the name. FND copy server, SOPI, apply, and OK. Now just design the page, new, the API OAF component, RA invoice, search page. Let's see. So here, set the properties first of all. Name will be search page. Okay. Now just create two regions. One is search region, other one is result region. So in the search region, I just require three items. One is text input, which is my transaction number. Let us say, yeah. First thing is to design our, first parameter is SOB ID, right? So let's change it to message choice. I'll just change it to message choice, nothing but our PopList. Change it to message choice, and here I'll say SOB ID, SOB pop ID. So here, what is the thing I have to mention? This is a message choice, nothing but our drop down. So here I have to mention all these properties: PopList view instance, display attribute as well as value attribute. So what is our PopList name? PopList name is this one. SOB ID pop people. But what is the instance name? If you assign the, if you see, just see the name in the AM, it will mention the instance name. Just make a note of this one, copy this one, and search page on this particular item on the PopList view instance. Just mention this property. Okay. And now, what is the display attribute and what is the value attribute? I want to display. I want to display the name and value. I want to consider this one. I want to display the name. I think what the letter name. So display, I want to display the name, and value I want to consider the SOPI. Okay. Now the same we just create one more item. This is a transaction number. This is just a text input item as of now. Transaction number ID. Transaction number. Now just view the button. Okay. And this. That's it. And now create a result region. Click on new region using the wizard. And next. Okay. Create a region. Next. Transaction. This. Pass some particular parameter. Next. Link all of them as message typer. Okay. So now we have to handle our go button, right? We have to handle our go button. So go to the form request. First of all, just design the AM method. And then any one game, design the method. Initialize R inverse, SOBID, and transaction method. As of now, I'm considering all of them as string, but later I'll show you how to convert the data. R inverse search, we will circle, yes, R inverse search. Same logic. Same method, we would have clear cache, we would have where clause null, zero dot set where clause param null, set where clause param 0 comma SOPID, and another one is 0 dot set where clause param finally extended it. That's it. So we have to call this particular method from the field. So on kickoff, so we have tried a lot. Page contains object parameter of okay. So we have to get two items. One is SOP ID, right? And another one is transaction number. No, we got any. Okay, that's it. So this how we can pass the value. Let's try. Okay. So now here, I think we forgot the prompt for the drop down. Okay. Now it will just show in the name, nothing but the ledger name. Okay. Let's select any of the thing. Okay. You can see or something. Or what we can do is, let us say now the SOP ID is one for the this thing, right? SOP ID is one for vision operation. So let's select vision operation. First one is vision operation, and let's try to get the data for this particular vision operation. So we just want to verify whether our search page is working fine or not. So where is the transaction number?
Yeah, I think we are on the left hand side.
Yeah. Okay. It's on here. Okay. SOP ID is one, and transaction number is from there. Okay.
But let's say if I'm not entering the transaction number, will it display all the records?
It all depends upon how we bind it. Again, it depends upon the way you bind it. If you just if it is a mandatory, yes. If it is equal to clause, you have to pass all the data, right? Now, as per the query, we just it's a mandatory that I have to mention. It is like as I'm binding it to where clause here is equal to condition, not the or clause, isn't it? Now where SOP ID is equal to something and transaction number is equal to something. If it is or clause, of course, like whether you mention the transaction number or not, SOP single parameter is enough, either SOP ID or transaction number is enough. If you mention or clause. So it all depends upon whether you want the and clause or a clause.
Okay.
And sometimes, what may happen is you just need to design a search page. Like at least what will the requirement could be? Like they say that okay, I have two search parameters, and at any point of time only one is mandatory, either transaction number or SOP ID is mandatory. So in that you have to bind the where clause at runtime. because declarative fashion will not work.
Okay.
Right? So in those scenarios, you have to manually like we have to check the condition. Okay, if transaction number is not null, then I will bind the transaction number. If SOP ID is not null, I will bind the SOP ID. If both are null, if both are not null, then I will bind both SOP ID as well as transaction number. So we have to manually write all these logic. All different certain number requirements. Whether you want to bind all the parameters, only one parameter, replace one parameter, those you have to consider. So earlier we have seen how to bind the variable, right? The same we have to try. Okay?
Yes, Srinu.
Yeah. So I'll stop here, and the next class what we do is we'll work on the query being search, and after that we'll get into the DML operation. And if you want to handle the PopList, it's very simple. So what you have to do is you just need to set a file action on this. So on the PopList, what you can do is, so we have a property called set file action. So here we have the option called file action. Action type equal file action. You just need to set the file action, and based on that you can handle the PopList also. Okay, and in the PopList, one more advantage. What is the advantage? What we have is if you observe here, I'm selecting vision operations, but I'm extracting the SOP ID. Here I'm selecting my ledger name, but I'm getting the SOP ID, isn't it? So that is not possible with LOB, but it's possible with the PopList. And if you want to get the vision operation, let us say if you want to get the ledger name also, then what you have to do is, so using page context object is not done. We have a different property for that one. So what we have to do is we have to get the wrapper class of the PopList, and we have a property called get selection value. So that's how we have to do it. So what you can do is I'll show you. Let's say I will have the event of this one. Anyway, it's not required, but if you want to get all the information of the PopList, what you have to do is OAF message was okay. This all enter. Now just say the being dot find get the references. Okay. Now if you want to get SOP name, then what you can do is SOP pop ID green dot get selection with selection text. Okay. By this you can get the SOP name. Now if you want to get the ID, SOP ID, what you can do? SOP pop ID or get selection value. So by this you can get the multiple value from the pop list. Now for our reference purpose, I can just change this. SOP name. SOP ID. Okay. Can you see? Now I got the vision operations as well as SOP edit one. Okay. SOP name is vision operations and SOP edit one. Okay. So this is how we can retrieve the value from the object, either the what you say, the either value as well as ID. Both things. Okay, Ganesh?
Okay, so that just we are assigning this values to the variable side. We are not doing anything in that part.
We are extracting, yeah. We are just getting the value. Sometimes you may have a requirement to get both the values. You want to get the name as well as ID. So in those kind of scenarios, you can use this particular API. This OAF message,
Okay.
OAF message file thing. This API we have to use it for getting the value as well as ID.
I can pass the string directly to any database procedures, right?
Yeah, of course. That is a yeah.
Okay.
Okay.